If you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe and become part of this community. Oh, and also, go cop that fresh merch and listen to my new songs in the description.
Future has been a heavyweight in the industry over the past now almost 2 decades that he's been active making music, and especially during the 2010s, he's obviously grown and blown to the extent of his career and to the success in the mainstream that we've seen him dominate over the past 10 years. But he just a couple of days ago did something that was very interesting and that we got to take a look at, because he sold his entire catalog of publishing rights and of the rights to the masters and the songs, obviously, to a company. And we're going to look at who that company is and what this means for his career and if he will actually profit from that. So let's jump straight into this. So Future's catalog over the past 20 years has been massive. Now, he sold his catalog, and I gotta look this up, from 2004 up to 2020, which is obviously not his entire catalog, because what he's been doing since 2020 is still in his own hands. That is a very important thing that we gotta note. And this catalog during this time span includes 612 titles. Now, this is obviously quite a bit, 612 songs, a bunch of which obviously also include the big name hits that he's been responsible for over the past 10 years. The Jumpmans with Drake, the Lowlives with The Weeknd, all of those are in these 612 songs. Now, obviously, if you go all the way back to 2004, that was his beginnings. Obviously, a bunch of those tracks didn't quite, make as much of an impact as the later ones, but it's still a very, very big, number of hits he got in there. Now, we got to take a look at who this company is that bought these rights. Their name is Influence Media Partners. They are, before this, I didn't know about them, so relatively unknown, but they are backed by the Warner Music Group, who have invested in them, and also BlackRock, who is a heavyweight in the investment niche. And if you are investing privately, you know them, you've heard of BlackRock. And when you head over to their website, they explain themselves and they describe themselves as a music and entertainment platform that is focused on investing in the recording and publishing rights of commercially proven songs that resonate throughout pop culture. So that's their mission statement. They want to invest in these, so-and-so commercially proven songs and that are relevant in popular culture. And apparently they see Future as one of those artists. We can also look at a couple of, before we get into the details of the deal, because it is quite a lot of money that they invested in this, we got to look at what they said about Future. Now, I kind of find this funny because you kind of know Future from the songs. Some people don't like Future, but when they're talking about it, it's kind of funny how they describe him as. Now let's look at this. They said Future is a cultural icon. He continues to be a blueprint for impact and success in the music industry and has reinvented music in ways that no one has ever expected. Now, obviously this is true if you look at all the different trends and influence that Future has had on the younger generation as well, and that Future is always one of the artists that younger artists name when they, recall who they listened to while they were growing up. But it's just funny to hear it from a serious investment firm that Future has reinvented music in ways that no one has ever expected. It just sounds like a little dramatic, but let's continue. They also said, it is rare to find someone who moves music and culture at the same speed with his distinct vocal and melodic style. His prolific career and continued popularity more than 15 years into the game is a testament to his undeniable influence on the contemporary music and cultural landscape. We're honored to be partnered with him. This is, of course, all put out to be in a very, very nice way, talking about his accomplishments. As I said, it's kind of funny looking at it from an inside hip-hop perspective and knowing Future, knowing a lot of the times that he's also missed and given us subpar, albums and music. But to hear it from a serious source like this, it's just kind of funny. But it also proves his influence and proves that he is someone that people even outside of hip-hop look at as a cultural icon. It's really crazy to consider that. Now let's continue with a couple of more things they said and their explanation behind why they wanted to invest in Future particularly. Now, another representative of the firm said, we consider Future an artist of the ages. It's kind of funny. I gotta say that. He resonates across a spectrum of demographics. We're so excited about this partnership. It's a fitting addition to our growing repertoire of top-tier talent and promotes our forward-thinking mission. During my tenure at Epic Records, I was able to work with and support Future throughout his pivotal career. Now at Influence, it feels like fate great to be able to collaborate with him again alongside my dynamic partners to protect his legacy and works. Now, Influence has also, kind of dabbled into a bit of a other, direction when it comes to investing in music. They, for example, invested in Taney's catalog as well, which includes collaborations with Bad Bunny, J Balvin, and stuff like that. So they're pretty big already, but this Future thing is obviously on another level, because when you look at the extents that this deal is taking, this deal is considered to be in the upper 2-digit million region. That is quite a bit. And when you kind of look at a couple of sources, they explain that this high 8 figures value that this is estimated to is around $65 to $75 million. And the first thought that I had that popped into my mind was like, okay, is this actually a dub for Future? Because when you consider that he's still collecting royalties from all of the music that he's been putting out, and that it's still, of course, it always changes with a couple of deals that he's been in, but it's always like been linked back to him. It was always him that at least received some of the royalties, and now giving away those kind of, puts him out of the situation. He just collects this one-time payment of 65 to 75 million, minus, of course, all the lawyer action and, notary stuff involved in there. But let's just say 65 to 75 million, and then it's gone. Now from now on, Influence Media Partners continues to receive these royalties and these, mechanical and different royalties that just kind of music sprays out there for the owner to collect. And I kind of think it was a wise move that he only sold his catalog up to 2020, because I don't think that in the long run, over the course of his life, his catalog up to 2020 would have made him $75 million. I'm of course not into the business. I've just seen Kanye go over his royalties and they were in the billions, so I don't know how much we're talking here. But if he continues to collect royalties from his stuff from 2020, so from High Off Life with the whole Life is Good move and stuff like that, from then on, now also considering his latest album, I Never Liked You, stuff like that, if he continues to collect royalties for those, I think it's actually a pretty good business move for him, because he collects 75 million and it's just like that, you feel me? He also had some stuff to say about this, why he collaborated with them and why he chose this, media firm to be the owner of his music catalog. And he said, I put everything into my music, and I wanted to make sure these were in good hands as I thought about the next chapter of these songs. I'm proud to partner up with Renee and the team at Influence Media and send a signal that this music has timeless value. My music is my art, and these songs represent some of the most precious artwork of my career. And that is obviously very true. This whole catalog has such a big meaning for Future that just selling it like that was probably a very big decision for him, and it's a decision that was very hard to make. And so we had to choose wisely who to sell it to. But I think for him moving forward, this is a wise decision, obviously, also considering that he continues to collect the royalties, as I just said, of the new songs. We're gonna have to wait and see what Influence Media Partners does with this catalog of Future, if they're gonna push it somehow, if they're gonna do the licensing differently. It's gonna be very interesting to see, but I think the most likely version will be that they just continue the way that it has already continued, and they license it to places that want to play it, and they collect the mechanical and the performance royalties of it, but they just collect the royalties, collect the money, and that's it. This obviously also puts a very interesting spin on whether or not Future will continue to perform the songs that he's released from 2004 to 2020, because he will of course collect the performance fee that he's paid, which is probably very high, but he does not collect the performance royalties for those. So that's interesting stuff to consider. But yeah, that's it. Future sold his entire catalog up to 2020 for $65 to $75 million to Influence Media Partners, which is a media firm backed by Warner Music Group and BlackRock. If we get any more news on what they're doing with this catalog, or if there's any interesting development in this, I'll be sure to keep y'all updated, so make sure you're subscribed. But now I want to know what you think about this. How do you feel about this? Do you think this is a wise move for Future? Do you think this is a dub, or do you think this is an L? Do you think he would have made more money keeping the rights to his music rather than selling them for a one-time fee? All of your thoughts and opinions on this, please let me know in the comments down below.
If you watched this video to the end and liked it, and you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that like button, and go follow my social media, and most importantly, join my Discord in the description. Until the next one, you'll have an incredible day, and y'all take care.